Okay, so this is the P14 pattern, P14. Okay, so this is the history of this weapon then. Basically, when the British took on the Boers and Boer War, they found their 303s weren't exactly doing as well as the Mausers were. The Mausers were flat firing, high velocity, where the 303 was struggling a bit on long range. So, sort of in the 1900s, they decided to get together and come up with a new rifle for the British Army, and to sort of get away with 303 and start going for a higher velocity. So basically they started to design a rifle based on the Enfield, the Remington, and a couple of other rifles that were around at the time. And they came up basically with this design, but it was called the P14 at the time. The idea was it had the sort of the bolt and the action of the Mauser, had the the lovely sights and the easy load like the Enfield. And originally it probably had more magazines as well, but obviously this is a 5-round job. So they designed this weapon. And they were going to go into start building it when basically the First World War happened, and it would have been stupid for them at that point to change calibers from 303. So they went back to the 303 Enfield and kept fielding that. But they found during the First World War, obviously they only had a small army, all of a sudden they needed more rifles because they needed more men. So basically they got the Americans to make these. So they drew a contract with the Americans, but it took absolutely ages for them to get this rifle through. And basically by the time they agreed on the contract and all the rest of it, they'd made enough Enfield 303s to sort of continue the fight. But this was still made, and it was made by 3 American companies, Winchester being one of them, and this is the Winchester version. And they brought it into service. It kind of went with second line troops, so the normal 303s can go to everybody else. And it saw service in the First World War. Some of these were adapted and used as sniper rifles. My thing, they're very good rifles, but then the Americans needed a rifle as well when they came into the war because they didn't have enough Springfields. So basically they made another version of this called the P17, which I actually have one of. But the P17 takes the 30-06 round, and the British, this version, the P14, basically loads the old 303 round. As I said, the war was on, there was actually a really bad idea to try and change calibers in the middle of the war, so this is what came out. So these saw a bit of service in the First World War, and then as soon as they sort of came out the war, they went and got stored, cleaned up, and then stored away. During the Second World War, they saw some service. The old Dad's Army used to have these. A few of them adapted as snipers' rifles, but it was mainly second-line service again for them. A lot of them after the war, that's it, they got sort of packed away. I like these rifles personally. I've been after one for a while. I finally got one. I had the P17, which is sporterised, but I wanted a true-to-God P14, and this is it, the Winchester version. What I like about it mainly is the sights. I think the sights are absolutely excellent. Obviously this is just a battle sight, but it's got a nice shaped sight up there, so it's not round, it's sort of hexagonal, so when you put it through the rear battle sight at 100 metres, it does really gives you a very nice sight picture to shoot with.
Shall we see if we can see the sight picture? Don't know whether we will down there.
If I lock the bolt, baby.
I don't know whether you'll be able to see it, but probably can't. Yeah, go on, sorry. Okay, so it has the the Mauser type action, very much like the K98 rifle. The actions look pretty much the same as the K98s. If you look at the older K98s, they look even similar. They're big, hefty bolts they loaded these with. Very nice, strong bolt action. Nice spring, lovely spring action. Slick as well, isn't
Slick. It? Even though this is like 1917 this was made, it's still a nice slick rifle to shoot. And that's it. So I mean, this is for saying this is 1917, it still shoots nice. It only takes takes 5 rounds of 303. This one, but you can see some of the old fittings on there. It still has the old measure there for the old volley sight. So the needle's gone and the rear sight's no longer there, but it still has the old dial for the volley sights, which was used to fire at ranges as a squad or as a group of people to shoot at longer ranges. But yeah, I've had this just a few weeks now. I've just been testing it. It shoots quite nice. I'll put a few rounds down range. So as well as a nice good action, this has a nice heavy barrel. There's the old P14. So it's very nice on target, hence why they used to use them as sniper rifles. But usually you load these with clips. We've been a bit of an old lady, I tend to hand load these in. Obviously it's rimmed, so you only get the 5 rounds in. If you had the 30-06 it'd be 6 rounds.
Going old school.
Yeah. What's going on?
Is that on that IPSC target?
Yeah, yeah.
Nail it.
Maybe not that one. So the action on this is beautiful, to going back and forth, it's lovely. Obviously you've got the old ladder sights in case you want to do some, you know, want to go a bit further. It says it goes up to 1600. But for this we just need our battle sight. Absolutely nothing wrong with this rifle at all. I do believe whoever had this before me literally put it in a cupboard and left it there, because it's you know, the rifling is top notch. It's in lovely condition. Obviously it's, you know, it's First World War issue, so it's going to have some nicks and scrapes, you know. You can imagine the old Dad's Armoury are probably doing bayonet practice with this, and you know, probably had 1 round per person for a little bit with them.
But, that's an idea for run and gun. Fix bayonets.
Fix bayonets. Well,
we'll do that. That's another video.
Yeah. So, you know, but the bayonet for this, I mean, I want to get the Winchester bayonet for it. So you're looking at £130 at least per bayonet. But like with all my rifles, I'll probably end up getting the bayonet for it.
And that'd just fit on the normal end, you know, that's the bayonet clamp there.
Yeah, just fit on the end. But you know, it's still, you know, they tried to make this rifle on, at the time, basis on all the different weapons that were around, and try to just get the best of every rifle they get their hands on and put it into the design.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a pick and mix of rifle.
The Americans, when they got the P14, they didn't like it very much. They complained it was too heavy, but you know, there was a few, the Americans fielded it a lot more than the British did. And they had to, you know, they fought with it. It was first line service for them.
Yeah, that didn't pick that one up, I didn't notice that. There you go. Sweet old lady. Not book, the rifle.
I do have the clips for this, but you know, I do
put 3 in. Is it left hand friendly? That is the question. We're connected with it anyway. God, that is so smooth, isn't it? That action. I think the stock's a bit short for me, like getting the pistol grip. Do you know what I mean? It feels like, I don't know, a bit short. But again, it ain't exactly a custom rifle, is it?